Another swearing-in ceremony took place in Tobago. This one, however, was the swearing-in of Secretaries and Assistant Secretaries of the Tobago House of Assembly. The event took place today at the President's House and saw a number of dignitaries, including Chief Justice Ivor Archie and Senator Nigel de Freitas. No announcement regarding appointments to the THA divisions were made, which caused some concern among the public, but the Chief Secretary, Kelvin Charles, made it clear that official details would be released via email by Monday evening. Reporter Patricia Nicholson was at today's ceremony and has the details.
10 secretaries and 3 assistant secretaries were sworn in at the President's House in Tobago earlier today. And although they weren't officially assigned to their respective divisions, Chief Secretary Mr. Kelvin Charles promised that by the end of the day, Tobagonians would know who would lead each division in the Tobago House of Assembly. THA Chief Secretary Kelvin Charles said it's not business as usual with his new team of secretaries and assistant secretaries. This was in response to the fact that neither the secretaries or assistant secretaries were officially assigned to their respective divisions at the swearing-in ceremony like in previous years.
Well, I have not done this before. I'm a chief secretary, so that I can't speak to what's normal.
But you have been
what I can say to you is that some things probably from here on in may be done differently, and perhaps that's a signal to know that it's not business as usual.
He's confident that his team under his leadership and with the various advisors to be assigned will make a difference in Tobago's development. He spoke further about the strengths of the people on his team and said assignment of portfolios won't necessarily fall in line with the secretary's area of expertise.
At the end of the day, what one has to do is to look at the scale as a set of those who are available to you and distribute or assign on the basis of what the plan and vision is. But you also have to bear in mind that part of the process of development in respect of people has to do with training and exposing some of those people in other areas. So that, for example, you may find someone who may be strong, let's say in community development, but you want to expose that person and you may put them in finance.
When pressed for more details on his method of appointing the secretaries to their respective divisions, Mr. Charles said he was not obligated to discuss the specifics about his selections.
I am not here to discuss my approach in specific terms. As I just indicated, my approach is to see where my talent is and therefore organize my talent, recognizing that we have an island to run and the medium to long term also requires the development of leaders.
He said on Monday the newly sworn-in team of secretaries and assistant secretaries who now form the Tobago House of Assembly Executive Council will engage in an orientation process so that they will be better aware of their responsibilities. Following Monday's orientation session, each secretary and assistant secretary would visit their respective divisions on Tuesday for a status update and, of course, insight on the way forward for each division and ultimately for Tobago. Reporting from the President's House in Tobago, I'm Patricia Nicholson for C News.
And this afternoon, the Tobago House of Assembly announced the secretarial appointments via an email as promised by the Chief Secretary. Among the appointments, the Chief Secretary, Kelvin Charles, will assume responsibility as Secretary of Education, Innovation and Energy, and Deputy Chief Secretary Joel Jack has been appointed Secretary of Finance and the Economy. Assemblyman Marcelin Melville Jack has been assigned to the Division of Community Development, Enterprise Development and Labour, Assemblyman Jomo Pitt to Sport and Youth Affairs, and Councillor Kwesi Devines as Secretary for Infrastructure and the Environment. Former PNM Senator and newly appointed Councillor Nadine Stewart Phillips will run the Division of Tourism, Culture and Transportation. Assemblyman Ansel Dennis, who's also the Deputy Presiding Officer, is now Assistant Secretary in the Office of the Chief Secretary. Marisha Osmond is also an Assistant Secretary in the Office of the Chief Secretary. Assemblyman Sheldon Cunningham, whose expertise in social services, was assigned as Assistant Secretary of Infrastructure and the Environment.